सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच।
This $69 monocular telescope allows you to see everything from miles away, like you are standing next.
अष्टपदी चरण सत सत पर संहार पूजा सत सत सेवदार दर्शन सत सत पेखनहार नाम सत सत ध्यानहार आप सत सत सब धारी आपे गुणकारी शब्द सत सत प्रभ बक्ता सुरत सत सत जस सुनता बूझनहार को सत सब होए नानक सत सत प्रभ सोए। सत स्वरूप हृदय जिन मानिया कन कराम तिन मूल पछानिया जा कर हृदय विश्वास प्रभु आया तत ज्ञान तिस मन प्रगटाया पैते निरपो होए बसाना जिस ते उपजया तिस माहे समाना बस्त माहे ले बस्त गड़ाई ताको पिन ना कहना जाई बूझे बूझन हार विवेक नारायण मिले नानक एक ठाकुर का सेवक आज्ञाकारी ठाकुर का सेवक सदा पुजारी ठाकुर के सेवक कै मन परती ठाकुर के सेवक की निर्मल रीत ठाकुर का सेवक जाने संग प्रभु का सेवक नाम के रंग सेवक को प्रभु पालन हारा सेवक की राखै निरंकारा सो सेवक जिस दया प्रभ धारै नानक सो सेवक सास सास समारै। अपने जन का पर्दा ढाकै अपने सेवक की सर पर राखै अपने दास को दे वड्याई अपने सेवक को नाम जपाई अपने सेवक की आव पत राखै ताकि गत मित कोई न लाखै प्रभु के सेवक को न पहुँचे प्रभु के सेवक ऊंचते ऊंचे जो प्रभु अपनी सेवा लाया नानक सो सेवक दह दिस प्रगटाया नीकी कीरी मह कल राखै भस्म करै लश्कर कोट लाखै जिसका सास न काढ़त आप ताको राखत दे कर हाथ मानस जतन करत बहुत तिसके कर तब बिरथे जात मारे न राखै अवर न कोय सर्व जिया का राखा सोए काहे सोच करे रे प्राणी जप नानक प्रभु अलख बड़ानी बारंबार बार प्रभु जपिए पी अमृत एह मन तन तृपिए नाम रतन जिन गुरमुख पाया तिस किछ अवर नाही दृष्टाया नाम तन नामो रूप रंग नाम सुख हर नाम का संग नाम रस जो जल तृप्तान मतन नाम है नाम समाने उठत बैठत सोवत नाम कहो नानक जन कै सद काम बोलो जस जेहबा दिन रात प्रभ पुनः जन की नीलात करे भगत आत्म कै जाए प्रभ पुनः स्यों रह समाए जो हुआ होवत सो जाने प्रभ अपने का हुक्म पछाने तिसकी महिमा कौन बखानो तिसका गुण कहे न जानो आठ पहर प्रभ बस है हजूरे कहो नानक से जन पूरे मन मेरे तिन की ओटले मन तन अपना तिन जन दे जिन जन अपना प्रभु पछाता सो जन सर्व थोक का दाता तिसकी शरण सर्व सुख पावे तिसका दर्श सब पाप मिटावे अवर से आन सगली छाड़ तिस जन की तू सेवा ला आवन जान न होवे तेरा नानक तिस जन की पूजो सत पैरा सलोक सतपुरख जिन जानिया सतगुरु तिसका नाम तिसके संग सिख उद्धरै नानक हर गुण गाओ अष्टपदी सतगुर सिख की कर प्रतिपाल सेवक को गुर सदा दयाल सिख की गुर दुर्मत मल हिरै गुरबचनी हर नाम उचरै सतगुर सिख के बंधन काटै गुर का सिख विकार ते हाटै सतगुर सिख को नाम धन दे गुर का सिख बड़ पागी है सतगुर सिख का हत पल सवार नानक सतगुर सिख को जी नाल समारै गुर के गृह सेवक जो रहे गुर की आज्ञा मन में सहै आपस को कर कछ न जनावै हर हर नाम हृदय सद ध्यावै मल बेचै सतगुर के पास तिस सेवक के कारज रास सेवा करत होए नेह कामी तिसको होत परापत स्वामी अपनी कृपा जिसे आप करे नानक सो सेवक गुर की मत ले बीस बिसवे गुर का मन माने सो सेवक परमेश्वर की गत जाने सो सतगुर जिस हृदय हर नाम अनक बार गुर को बल जाऊं सर्वनिधान जी का दाता आठ पहर पार ब्रह्म रंग राता ब्रह्म में जन जन में पार ब्रह्म एक है आप नहीं कछ परम सहसयान बलया न जाइए नानक ऐसा गुरु बड़ भागी पाइए
दिन दिन होते सुरंग सतगुरु है रंग रेज चुनर मेरी रंग डारी पाव के कुंड नह के जल में प्रेम रंग दई बोर जस की चास लगाए के खूब रंगी चक चोर सतगुरु है रंग रेज चुनर मेरी रंग डारी सतगुरु ने चुनरी रंगी रे सतगुरु चतुर सुजान ओ
Hello everyone, welcome to today's satsang. So today is 11th February, Thursday, and Isaac is going to sing today's song. The title is Though I Walk Through the Valley of Death. Okay, then Michael will give us the introduction, and then we Jaspreet is going to read us a story today. Master finds you when you are ready. Then we have a short dance session of 5 minutes. Then we'll play Master's video. Then we'll do group meditation with love and devotion. Thank you so much. Now we'll start with the song.
Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Isaac from Israel. I want to sing a song which is from King David, from the Psalms. And let's go. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. You are with me. Thy love and thy warmth, they comfort me. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy love and thy warmth, they comfort me. גם כי אלך בגיא מוות, לא ירא, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy love and thy warmth, they comfort me. Ishwar, Ishwar, Ishwar ji, Ishwar Puri, Guru ji, Ishwar, Ishwar, Ishwar Puri, Guru ji.
Wow, Isaac, that was amazing, marvelous. It made me want to dance. Ishwar, Guruji, I swear, I felt like dancing. Thank you so much, dear brother. Beautiful seva, thank you. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome again to this holy meeting, to our holy congregation, where we glorify our Holy Father, Ishwar Puri Ji, and get lost in the sky of love, in the sky of his love. We get lost. The bee of our heart gets immersed in his palace, in his ocean of grace, where it needs no other joy. I just wanted to tell you that Master has led me to a treasure house, to his honey house, to a God's honey. And he led me to 12,660 words of Kabir's treasure poetry. I've been listening to them for the last 2 days, day and night, reading this beautiful poetry. It's like a treasure house that I have never seen before, where Kabir, Saint Kabir, just divulges the secrets of life. He even explains and describes the spiritual regions like I've never heard before. The place where thousands of Indras, thousands and numberless Shivas and Vishnus, goddesses, gods, and demigods are just worshipping Satpurush, where one hair of this primal being, Satpurush, one hair, all the suns and moons get shy when they see one hair of his radiance. He describes that place where there is endless streams of nectar flowing everywhere, and the music resounds without a strike of a chord in all direction. He describes the sound of the flute, and he says the sound of the flute is love. So I'm gonna be reading for the next till they're done, till I read the 12,660 words of poetry. I'm gonna be reading them for the next few days, and we can also talk about them, describe them, and just indulge in Kabir's love, indulge in what this perfect master, a total being who came on earth as God in man and man in God, gave us a treasure house. Let's just taste a little of it. And that will just ignite the flame of longing. It will ignite the flame of longing, the flame of separation, the light of love. It will ignite the light of love in us and encourage us not to look back and just to keep looking forward towards our true home, where the streams of nectar are flowing, that nothing in this world belongs to us, nothing is for us, and it's the world of suffering. Let's all head in Master's love boat towards that place, towards that kingdom, towards our true home, where we'll be enjoying forever and for eternity. So today I will read a story from Saint Kabir, since it is Saint Kabir's day, and I will also read his poetry, 10 minutes of his poetry. So I will read like 10 minutes of his poetry every day, till they are done. So it says the songs of Kabir. O servant, where dost thou art seek me? I am beside thee. I am neither in mosque, I am neither in Kaaba, nor in Kalash, neither am I in rites and ceremonies, nor in yoga and in renunciation. If thou art a true seeker, thou shalt at once see me. Thou shalt see me in a moment of time, Kabir says. O Sadhu, God is the breath of all breath. It is needless to ask of a saint the caste of which he belongs, for the priest, the warrior, the tradesman, and all the 36 castes alike are seeking for God. It is but folly to ask what the caste of a saint may be. The barber has sought God, the washerwoman, and the carpenter. Even Raidas was a seeker of God, the Rishi. Swapacha was a tanner by caste. Hindus and Muslims alike have achieved that end, where remains no mark of distinction. O friend, hope for him, O friend, hope for him whilst you live. Know whilst you live, understand whilst you live, for in life deliverance abide. If your bonds be not broken whilst living, what hope of deliverance in death? Wow. And listen, this poetry gets more and more and more delicious. As we proceed, it becomes even richer, and all the spiritual gems, all spirituality is in these poems. If we understand these poems, that's it. We understand all Sant Mat, all spirituality, and all the teachings of the saints and masters. Oops. It is but an empty dream that the soul shall have union with him, because it has passed from the body. If he is found now, he is found then. If not, we do but go to dwell in the city of death. If you have union now, you shall have it hereafter. Bathe in the truth, know the truth, know the true Guru. Have faith in the true name, Kabir says. It is the spirit of the quest which helps. I am the slave of the spirit of the quest. Do not go to the garden of flowers, O friend. Go not there in your body. Is the garden of flowers, take your seat on the thousand petals of the lotus, and there gaze on the infinite beauty. Tell me, brother, how can I renounce Maya when I have given up trying of ribbons? Still, I tied my garment about me when I gave up tying my garment. Still, I covered my body in its fold. So when I gave up passion, I see that anger remains. And when I renounce anger, greed is with me. And when greed is vanquished, pride and vain glory remains. When the mind is detached and casts Maya away, still it clings to the letter. Kabir says, listen to me, dear Sadhu. The true path is rarely found. The moon shines in my body, but my blind eyes cannot see it. The moon is within me, and so is the sun. The unstruck drum of eternity is sounded within me, but my deaf ears cannot hear it. So long as man clamors for the eye and the mind, his works are as naught. When all love of the eye and the mind is dead, then the work of the Lord is done. For work has no other aim than getting of knowledge. When that comes, then work is put away. The flower blooms for the fruit. For, the flower blooms for the fruit when the fruit comes. The flower withers, the musk is in the deer, but but it seeks it not within itself. It wanders in quest of grass. When he himself reveals himself, Brahma brings into manifestation that which can never be seen. As the seed is in the plant, as the shade is in the tree, as the void is in the sky, as infinite forms are in the void, so from beyond the infinite comes. From beyond the infinite comes. Wow. And from the infinite, the finite extends. Whew, so much philosophy. The creature is in Brahma, and Brahma is in the creature. They are ever distinct, yet ever untied. He himself is the tree, the seed, and the germ. He himself is the flower, the fruit, and the shade. He himself is the sun, the light, and the lighted. He himself is Brahma, creature, and Maya. God is everything. He himself is the manifold form, the infinite space. He is the breath, the word, and the meaning. The breath, the word, and the meaning. He himself is the limit and the limitless, and beyond both the limited and the limitless. Is he the pure being? He is the immanent mind. in Brahma and in the creature. The Supreme Soul is seen within the soul. Oh my God, can this get more delicious? The Supreme Soul is seen within the soul. By the way, one of the poems was saying that if we, you know how Ishwar Puri ji left the body, Kabir says that it's a sin even to miss him because he is inside of you, head to toe. Go within and find him. Okay. Is he pure being? He is the immanent mind. In Brahma and in the creature, the supreme soul is within the soul. The point is seen within the supreme soul. And within the point, the reflection is seen again. Kabir is blessed because he has this supreme vision. I hope we will all be blessed with this supreme vision. Within the earthen vessel are bowers and groves, and within it is the Creator. Within this vessel are the seven oceans and the unnumbered stars. The touchstone and the jewel appraiser are within, and within this vessel the eternal soundeth, and the spring wells up, Kabir says, the spring of love. That's from me. Listen to me, my friend, my beloved Lord is within. Oh, how may I ever express that secret word? Oh, how can I say he is not like this and he is like that? If I say that he is within me, universe is ashamed. If I say that he is without me, it is he makes the inner and the outer worlds to be indivisibly one. The conscious and the unconscious, both are his footstools. He is neither manifest nor hidden. He is neither revealed nor unrevealed. There are no words to tell that which he is. To thee thou hast drawn my love, O Fakir. I was sleeping in my own chamber, and thou didn't awaken me. Striking me with thy voice, O Fakir, I was drowning in the deeps of the ocean of this world, and thou didn't save me, and thou didn't save me, upholding me with thine arm. O Fakir, only one word, and no second, and thou hast made me of tear of all my bonds, O for cure. Kabir says, thou hast united thy heart to my heart, O Fakir. Unite thy heart, my heart to thy heart. I played day and night with my comrades, and now I am greatly afraid. So high is my Lord's palace, my heart trembles to mount its stairs. Wow, so high is my Lord's palace, my heart trembles to mount its stairs. Yet I must not be shy if I would enjoy his love. My heart must cleave to my lover. I must withdraw my veil and meet him with all my body. Mine eyes must perform the ceremony of the lamps of love. Kabir says, listen to me, friend. He understands who loves if you feel not. Loving, longing for your beloved one, it is in vain. It is vain to adorn your body, vain to put unguent on your eyelids. Tell me, O Sawan, your ancient tale. Tell me, O Sawan, your ancient tale. From what land do you come, O Swan? Sorry, Swan. Swan. Tell me, O Swan, your ancient tale. From what land do you come, O Swan? To what shore will you fly? Where would you take your rest, O Swan? And what do you seek? Even this morning, O Swan, awake, arise, follow me. There is a land where no doubt nor sorrow have ruled, where the terror of death is no more. The terror of death is no more. There the woods of spring are a bloom, and the fragrant scent. He is, he is born on the wind. There the bee of the heart is deeply immersed and desires no other joy. Wow. O Lord, increate who will serve thee. Every vote offers his worship to the God of his own creation. Each day he receives service, nuns. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna stop here today. I'm gonna read to you the story of because I read 10 minutes. I'm gonna read to you the story of one story of Saint Kabir. Wow, what marvelous treasure that has come towards us. Um, I'm just enjoying every moment of this poetry, and hopefully one day we will all go to that. We will, not hopefully, for sure, one day all of us will go to that place, to God's honey, and drink his nectar that is flowing from all directions and enjoy. Okay, let's read the story of Saint Kabir. How saints change lives. As a rule, Sahib devoted all his evenings when in Banaras to feeding and serving holy men, and in enjoying their company and their exalted thoughts. But it happened that on one evening a group of holy men visited him, and there was not a scrap of bread in the house, nor did Kabir have even one spare anna in his pocket. Kabir went to his devoted wife, Mia, and asked her if she knew of any way by which they could get some food. Mia said, that man who owns the food stall in the bazaar just down the street might give us some food on credit. Do you believe that I should go and ask him? Kabir agreed to this, and Mia hurried off down the street. When she had asked the stall keeper for credit, he smiled slyly and said, Mia, it would be a great pleasure to give you whatever food you need. There is only one condition, that is, that you will come to me in the night. Mia Lau remained silent while the stall keeper selected the food she wanted and gave it to her. Returning, returning quickly to her home, she told Kabir of all that had happened while she was preparing dinner for their guests. That night, when it had been dark for several hours, Kabir reminded her that the time has come for her to repay the stall keeper. At the same time, he said, do not worry, for everything will be quite in order. Everything will be quite in order when we are God's lovers. These things are taking place because I wish to bring this man to the right path in this particular manner. He wanted to bring him to the right path in this manner. Wow. When she was ready, he told her, it is raining now, and I see that the streets is full of mud. So get on my back, and I will carry you to your appointment. The house was soon reached, and Mia went inside. While Kabir waited for her outside the door, delighted to see her and unable to believe in his great good fortune, the stall keeper nevertheless noticed that Mia's slippers, despite the rain, had no mud on them, and neither were they wet. How, how is it that you walk through the muddy streets, he asked, and yet there is not a trace of mud on your slippers? There is nothing to wonder at, my friend. My husband Kabir carried me here on his back, and is now waiting for me outside the door. O hearing the name of the great saint spoken, the stall keeper was suddenly overcome with shame. Going to the door, he begged Kabir to come inside and dry himself. Then falling to his knees, he begged both Kabir and me Allah to grant him pardon. Rise up, my good fellow, said Kabir. It is a rare man indeed who does not stray from the path. Kabir and his wife took their leave, and the stall keeper sat in his corner far into the night, pondering on what had happened. In the end, he came to the conclusion that there was only one good path to follow in this world, the path of discipleship. In the morning, he sought out Kabir and became one of his most devoted disciples. And imagine how beautiful the story says. From sin, he is redeemer of the lost. He is the guide. This is poetry from Guru Tegh Bahadur. From sin, he is the redeemer of the lost. He is the guide. Wow. Oh, hold on one second. All right. I enjoyed reading Kabir. I enjoyed the love. I felt the grace of Master while I was reading. And thank you, Master, for bringing this treasure house of poetry, 12,660 words, our direction. We will be enjoying it for the next few days. And now I welcome my dear princess, little sister Jaspreet, and I will play her story. Okay?
Hello everyone. Today I would like to read you a story called A Master Finds You When You Are Ready. Here it goes. Many years ago, there was a man who was a merchant in the Middle East. Despite being a merchant, he wasn't very well off. When he was a young man, he had two big desires in his life. One was to understand the world of spirituality and learn deeper spiritual truths, and another was to make lots and lots of money. He was born poor and had lots of struggles because of that during his childhood and while growing up. So, for that reason, he naturally grew older wanting to have more money and to fulfill all the desires throughout his life. Over time, his desire for money grew much bigger than his desire for spirituality. He put his heart and soul into trading and making endless money. As the years went on, this man became richer and richer. He married, had children, and his wealth grew and grew. And when he had finally managed to make endless money, he was almost 50 years old. Working towards a life of wealth and worldly desires had gone really fast. He didn't even realize how days became weeks, weeks became months, and months became years. However, now that he had fulfilled his desire to become a very wealthy and rich man with lots of money, he thought to himself that now it was time to experience all that money cannot buy. His desire for spirituality, which was hiding in the corner of his mind, now came to the front. He thought to himself, "Let me go back on my spiritual journey and see what I can achieve there." He called his children and told them, "I want you to take care of all the family matters and business from now on. I will take some time off from all of this and go to a place near Oasis and build a small house and live in solitude and gain spiritual wisdom." With these words, he left everything behind and began his spiritual journey. He found a suitable place and built a house there. He moved all the spiritual books he had collected over the years in his library into his new house. The merchant did not know how to cook, so he thought of hiring a cook to help him make food. A villager came to him and said, "I'm a good cook. Please hire me as your cook. I will only ask for food as my salary." "All right, fine, but please make sure you do not disturb me. I am here to focus on my spiritual quest," said the merchant. The cook nodded in agreement. The merchant was on a mission to find spirituality. He did whatever he could for 7 whole years. He studied and studied, but at the end of these years, he was convinced that he needed help of someone with greater knowledge than him. Someone who had already found spirituality, and someone who could guide him in the right direction. He was clear in his mind that he needed a teacher, someone who had already walked the path. He went on searching and looking for teachers in the desert. He met many teachers, but he was not satisfied. One day, the merchant saw a man that was everything he had been looking for, someone whom he thought was mirroring the image of the teacher he had been searching for. With big beard, long robe, rosary beads, and a serious face. This man looked very much like the merchant had imagined for her master. He bowed down to this holy man and prayed, "O Great One, please take me as your disciple." The holy man said, "I have never had a student before. I will have to ask my master's permission if I should take you as a student." The holy man paused for a second and continued, "I will ask his permission, but I have not seen him for the last 7 years. First I will have to find him. Then only I can take you as my disciple. You will have to wait until I find him and get his permission." The merchant was very disappointed and disturbed to hear this. He had already been searching for so long and didn't want to waste any more time, so he begged the holy man, "Oh, but it will take many days for you alone to search him. Please allow me to assist you in the searching." "All right," said the holy man. The merchant got really excited and asked the holy man, "How does your master look, O holy man? Describe him to me." "Well, my master is beyond beautiful. He has a short and slim body, and he generally does not wear upper garments on his body. He is an outstanding cook," said the holy man. The merchant was very surprised to hear this and asked the holy man to repeat what he just said. "Would you please describe him again, O holy man?" The holy man described his master again, and this time in more detail. The holy man's words hit the merchant. He could not believe what he was hearing. His entire body shook, and he said, "O holy man, will you please come to my house? Your master that you are describing sounds exactly like my cook." They both walked towards the merchant's house and entered the living room. The kitchen door opened, and the cook came out with his towel on his shoulder. The holy man with the long beard fell on the floor and prostrated in front of the cook and exclaimed loudly, "My dear master, where were you all this time?" "I was cooking for this man," replied the cook. The holy man was confused and replied, "But this man is still looking for a teacher." "Yes, I am very aware of that," laughed the cook. "It took me 7 years to make him realize he needed a teacher," said the cook with love in his eyes. "So now what? What do I do now?" asked the holy man. "Now? Well, you teach him, you show him the path. I have other work to do," said the so-called cook, who was a great master. With these words, he walked away. We must all understand that nothing is in our hands. We are merely puppets in a show called life. A person cannot find his master, not even if he's right in front of him. It's the master who finds the disciple. The right master finds you when you are ready. Thank you.
Jaspreet, I have no words to thank you. Just, I loved the story. I never heard this story before. It's a new story to me, and I know so many stories. So thank you so much. And it's just full of godly knowledge and godly wisdom, that we are just puppets in this world, that nothing is in our hands, and finding the teacher, he finds us. And just to tell you something, that when I met Ishwar Puri Ji, and even though he's a perfect living, he's a PLM, and he was totally God in man and man in God. It took me 5 years to open my heart to him, even though my soul was dragging me to go get the blessings, but I did not open my heart. It took me 5 years. And now I was like, why did it take me 5 years? Imagine if I fell in love with him when I first met him in 2012. I could have gained 5 more years of unlimited treasures than not having full faith in him. But everything has a time. Everything has a time. It took that person 7 years to even ask for a master. And it took me 5 years to open my heart to Ishwar Puriji. But thank God my heart was open to him. The master works on us. Slowly, slowly, he drags us. Slowly, slowly, with his net, with his hook, with his godly hook, he keeps on dragging us towards himself. And at the right time, we fall in his lap. Everything has to be at the right time. Everything is predestined, and everything has its right moment. Just like I said before, enlightenment has also its right moment. When we will be dragged to that land of endless streams of nectar, that is also predestined in our destiny. And since we are all lovers of God, it is a surety that we will all be in that place. We will all be in that place. Some of us will be in this lifetime, and some maybe they have to come back again in the next life, or the life after. But I think, as Dr. Chand said, everybody here is a Sachkhandi. So I think all of us are on list A, that we will be enjoying God and the kingdom of God in this life. And when we leave this body, we will be with Satpurush in the lap of the beautiful one. So now we can do 5 minutes of meditation to prepare ourselves for our Holy Master, the perfect one, Satpurush, hidden in the human form. He who blessed us and poured on us oceans of love and oceans of grace, oceans of beauty. He is God's honey. Let's all immerse ourselves deep as the bee, like the bee of our heart. Let it immerse itself in God's honey, the words of Ishwar Puriji. Okay, 5 minutes of meditation.
What is it in us that makes us feel that other people can die but not us? The real reason for that is that we never die. The real reason is that the consciousness which is making us feel that we will never die is telling us the truth, that we will never die. Because we never die. The body dies. The death of the body is merely casting off a particular clothing we are wearing. It's just one of the garments, one of the covers upon ourselves. It's one of several covers. But inside these covers, we never die. The self of which I spoke in the morning never dies. It doesn't die because it was never born. It's a very difficult concept. Impossible for the mind to visualize. When did we come into being? When did our soul come into being? We say, once upon a time. You cannot say once upon a time when no time exists. You can say once upon a time when you are in a time frame. The time frame doesn't start till we get a mind and start using it. One of the garments. We put on a mind on ourselves, we put a sensory perception on ourselves, we put a physical body on ourselves, and time is everything for us. Time is the only thing that keeps moving, whether you like it or not. Time becomes our master. Time becomes our destiny. Time becomes our trap, the biggest trap. The biggest trap we ever had was time. And we can't think outside of time. It's impossible for the mind to visualize, to contemplate, to conceptualize what it would be like if there was no time. People tell me that there is one time where there is no time, and it's called now. I was surprised that there is no time in now, that now is timeless, and we are all living in now all the time. Somebody gave me a book to read, The Power of Now, how you can live in the now. And my question was, where else are we living? I've never met anybody who's not living in the now. I don't know anybody who has the capacity to live anywhere outside of now. They don't even have the capacity to go outside of now. And yet now has no time. Now, they say, is a meeting point between the past and the future. It has no time. Even a billionth part of a nanosecond is time. Before I can utter the word now, it's past. Before I uttered it, it was future. It never stopped. It didn't hold on at now. It became the past. And all I could do was to recall it from my memory. Because you can't experience the past except through memory. We have not been gifted with any other vision, any other method of looking at the past except through memory. We remember things. We can relive them by remembering visuals. We can remember words. We can remember events. But we remember. We use memory for that. The past is accessible only through memory. And memory means it's not happening now, it happened earlier. That's why we remember it. So past is already gone. What about future? At least there is something we can in store for us, our destiny, packed up in the future. And maybe future is flowing, and the experience of events flowing from the future are constituting our present. Not at all. If we did not have the capacity in reason to hope, to fear, or to anticipate, there would be no future. Did you ever realize that future, what we call future, is a function of these three functions of consciousness? We hope for things, we create a future. We are afraid of things, we create a future. We anticipate this will happen like that, we create a future. And these three things are not different. They are all anticipation. Anticipation of something good we call hope. Anticipation of something which is not so good we call fear. And what is neutral we call anticipation. It's the same thing. It's a function of the mind that creates a future. In order to hope, in order to fear, in order to anticipate, we need time. Doesn't matter if it's a second or more. And that leads us again into the past. Think of it very scientifically, and you will find that whatever we have called future was indeed the past. Because we had to create the future by hoping, anticipating, and fearing, which were all taking place in time, therefore they were the past. Now had no time at all. So now is a very strange situation that we are all living in a timeless state. Then how come it doesn't look like that at all? There is something happening which makes us feel we are living in the present. The present is merely a rapid, visual, multi-dimensional recollection of the immediate past. That's what we call present. There's no other present. When we say, when was this world created? And I give an honest answer now. It's an honest answer. Because there is nothing else. Without time, there is nothing else except now. If we go beyond the mind, what time frame will we go into? We'll go into now. Therefore, when we say we apply the rules of worldly time, we apply the rules of beginning, middle, and end, which were merely conveniences created to pack events into. The creation by mind of beginning, middle, and end, which we have given several names, including names of gods, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, in India. Who are these gods? They are merely to represent that time exists. And the beginning we call Brahma, and this middle portion we call Vishnu, and the end we call Shiva. We have given all kinds of names to these trinities because trinities create time. The experience of time that we are having is a very valuable thing for this kind of experience. It's a very valuable thing for having a non-body, ethereal body experience. It's also a very useful thing to have a pure mental experience. They all take place in time. With one difference. In the physical body, with this cover on, we deny to ourselves any other experience of time except the physical time. And this physical time is not governed by our experience, but by our watches and clocks. That's another big trap. Supposing I'm having a good time, having nice coffee with a friend, and I say, well, it's only 15 minutes have passed. I look at my watch, 1 hour. Oh, sorry, I didn't know 1 hour has passed. My experience was not 1 hour. My experience was 15 minutes. I believe the watch and not my experience. We are trapped. On the other hand, we sit for meditation. I want to sit for meditation for 2.5 hours. It looks like 3 hours. And I look at the watch, 15 minutes. No, I thought it was 2.5 hours, 3 hours. A friend of mine who was a regular meditator, lived in San Francisco many years ago, and invited me to come and visit him. So I came and stayed with him. And he said, very good, Ishwar, you are old disciple of great master, must have done a lot of meditation. I had to bite my tongue when he said that. And therefore, let's meditate together in the morning. I said, why? I wanted to sleep really. But he said, no, 3 o'clock meditation time. So to keep up faces, I had to get up at 3 o'clock also with him. And we both got up, and all in regular position, we squatted round, closed our eyes. At 3 o'clock sharp, we started 2.5 hours of meditation. Now, frankly speaking, I am not a good meditator because time and again my curiosity took the better hold of me to see what he's doing. So I opened the corner of my eye to see what he's doing. By coincidence, every time I opened my eye to see, he was looking at his watch. After 15-20 minutes, I said, let me see now what's going on. He was just doing very nicely. After we sat 2.5 hours like that. And then he said, oh, it was a very nice meditation session. I said, it was, my friend. The only difference is you were not meditating at the third eye center. You were not meditating on your beloved master. You were not meditating on anything spiritual. You were meditating on your watch. When we are so conscious of how much time we are spending, do you think You can pull attention inside like that. Haven't we made it into a ritual already? That this is the nature of a trap around us, that we are caught up so much in this time frame. People say, do 2.5 hours of meditation. Supposing I was watching my watch for 5 hours, it meant nothing. And supposing for 5 minutes, my beloved master appears and pulls me inside and says, let's fly. Those 5 minutes will be more valuable than 2.5 hours looking at the watch. It's not the quantum, it's not the quantity, it's the quality of meditation that counts. Great Master explained to one of his questioners who asked, how much is good meditation? So that I can do the right time of meditation. Great Master said, in this world, in this life, a day and night consists of 24 hours. How much time are we giving to meditation? Supposing you decide to give 1/10, based on the old system that the tithes and the charity you give should be 1/10 of your net income. Let's say you give 1/10 of your total time every day available, every day and night. It'll be about 2.5 hours. If you spend 2.5 hours on meditation and spend 21.5 hours on other things, where will the scale tilt? To other things. It's not enough. 2.5 hours is not enough. Because you are spending far more time on other things than what you're spending on the real thing of meditation. Then, Master, how much should we do? He says, ideally, Great Master says, ideally, you should meditate for 21.5 hours and do other things for 2.5 hours. That's the ideal way. Master, how can we do 21.5 hours? We have other things to do in this world. We have jobs to do, food to cook, work to do, travel, all those things we have to do. How can we do 21.5 hours? He said, actually, it's very simple. If the work you do, you say you are doing that work not because of earning a livelihood or because you have to do it, but because you want to do it because Master says do it. It's meditation. If you can associate your Master to any work you are doing, it counts equal to meditation. Because meditation is the art of pulling your attention, and you are focusing attention while doing work on something that will help you when you sit inside for 2.5 hours. If you are thinking of the Master, if you are doing your simran, your repetition, while walking, cooking, doing your chores, daily chores, if all the time you're doing simran and remembering the face of your beloved Master, it's as good as meditation. Great Master's own grandson, Purushottam Singh, joined the army, and he was stationed somewhere about 100 miles away from the Dera. And one day he comes to Great Master, who was also his grandfather and also his master. He said, Master, I had decided my life will be dedicated to you. I'll sit near your feet and do meditation, and that'll be my life. But where have you sent me in destiny to join a military camp somewhere? I'm so far away, can't come and see you. I think I should resign my job and come and sit at your feet and be devoted to you. Great Master said, go back and join your unit. When you do any work in that job, think you are doing for Master, it's as good as meditation and better than sitting in my feet and thinking of other things. Explained, meditation is not merely a ritual. We make it into a ritual. Meditation is what we should continue all the time. Every time you remember your beloved, you are in love. It's meditation. Every time you can think of that Master of yours, it's meditation. When you miss your Master, is it not meditation? Is it not the growth of love and devotion in you? How would you miss your Master? Therefore, if we are doing this all day's work, with continuous repetition of our simran, with thought of our Master, remembering his face, remembering small events that have happened with him, if we are doing that, it's equivalent to meditation. It prepares you for future journey as much as sitting down with your eyes closed would do. Therefore, meditation has to be done all the time. What about night time when we sleep? Great Master explained, if you do meditation for half an hour just before you sleep, that meditation will continue during your sleep. Supposing you are repeating the Simran, the words, for half an hour just before sleeping, and you wake up in the middle of the night, you'll find you're still repeating that. Repetition of words is to control the mind, not to think of other things, and can be made into a habit. Repetition of words, the mantras, is not necessarily to lead you anywhere. It's for local use. It is only for use. Meditation by repetition of words takes you nowhere beyond the astral plane. It does not take you beyond the mind at all. It's a mental function to repeat words. But the repetition of words, when we make it a habit, which we can do by trying to repeat all the time. If you make it a habit, it becomes very easy. Repetition requires no effort at all. It becomes a habit of the mind. And you know the mind is habit forming, always habit forming. It forms one habit after another. If you make a habit of repeating the words and you go to sleep, after half an hour of meditation on words, the words continue throughout the night. And you wake up in the morning, you are still meditating. Therefore, Great Master said, if you follow this, what about the missing 2.5 hours? You said you should do 21.5 hours. This way you can do 24 hours. Great Master said, no, I am allowing for some 2.5 hours when your mind and attention is required for some important paperwork or some important meeting where you have to give your attention. That is normally not more than 2.5 hours. The rest is routine. So he gave a tip on how to do meditation for 21.5 hours. Otherwise, we are trapped in time. Events have been loaded into this time, and we are being dragged by those events through attachments, desires. There's nothing that binds us here except desire leading to attachment. We get attached. Then we can't get rid of that thought. If you want to know who you are attached to, what your attachments are, try meditation. It's a very good way. When you try to sit behind the eyes, all those things will come back and pull you out. It's like being tied down by ropes all over. You see so many strings tying you out. This one pulls you, then this one pulls you. You try to pull back. You say, no, I want to meditate. I don't want to remember this. That's such a sad situation when we have to fight the mind like that. Because supposing all the time you say, my mind is trying to think of other things, I want to bring it back to meditation. I start my repetition, I start my Simran. The mind starts thinking something else and I am not repeating. I suddenly find out I am not repeating the words. I am thinking of something else. And I say, no more. And I start repeating again. Then the mind comes and pulls something else, and I find after a few seconds, after a few minutes, I am not repeating the words at all. I pull it back and fight the mind. If this is the style of meditation we are having, what will happen after 2.5 hours? We'll be totally tired and exhausted because we did such a big battle. We thought we won every battle with the mind, and yet we lost the war. We lost the war because we spent all our time fighting. So it has a very limited role to fight with the mind. It's a limited role till we can convince ourselves that there is something worth looking for. When we say there's something worth looking for, and we explore the space inside, not only repeat like a parrot, but repeat in order to not think of other things as much as possible and explore what is happening inside. Go around, fly, look up, look on the side, stay in the center. If we start doing that, we get some visions, some experiences. Stars come up, colors come up, different kind of experiences come up, waterfalls consisting of lights come up, simple experiences start coming up, illuminated experiences come up. We see buildings lit up with light. We see we are flying over some land. All those little experiences make it interesting to stay there. That is necessary. That takes away the fight with the mind. Meditation should be treated as if it is a scientific exploration of the space inside your head, behind the eyes. If that is not done, then we are making it a ritual. Then what's the difference between going to a temple or a church or a synagogue and just attending service and come back the same way we went? Instead of going that, we are now doing 2.5 hours. Willy-nilly, somehow we are doing it. What are you doing it for? You're not obliging anybody by doing that. You're supposed to do it to get something out of it. And to get something out of it, understand why we are doing it. We are doing it because our attention has been thrown outside and we are unable to look what is happening inside. If we do happen to look inside, strange things happen better than just flashes of light or flashes of color. You're able to pull inside. You find you have another body of yours, a totally different body, a body that does not follow the laws of physical nature. Just like a dream, which is a lower state of level of consciousness. It looks like a lower state of level of consciousness. Just like when we go to dream, the laws that operate a dream do not apply to the physical world. For example, in a dream you can fall off from a cliff and you don't get hurt. In a dream you can be in one location, you can be in Los Angeles today and you can be in Chicago 1 second later, it looks normal in a dream. It doesn't look normal here at all. Therefore, the laws that control the experiences at different level are different. When you withdraw your attention to your astral self, you find the laws are different. Even the time is different. Even the nature of time is different. Here, time is completely out of your control. You cannot hold even a nanosecond. It flows. It looks like time flies. Or maybe you are flying over time. And time is static, or maybe time is flowing, you are static, something is happening, but you have no control over it. At least in the astral plane, you have some control over it. You can hold a particular experience for as long as you like. You can't do that here. The nature of time is different. Time still flows. Events still come the same way. Because when we talk of an astral self, when we say we have an astral body inside this body, and when we leave the physical body, we go to astral body. What is the astral body made up of? Have you ever contemplated what is that body? This body we know is made of these cells and substances and blood and skin and tissues. We know what this body is made of. Do we know what the astral body is made up of? The astral body is made up only of sense perceptions. And there's nothing else in it. It has the capacity to have all the sense perceptions we are having in the physical body, except they are much sharper. Because the cover upon the sense perceptions is not there, and this body provides a cover upon them, and we see through the physical system. The sense perceptions per se are the astral body. Therefore, the astral body takes the same shape as this because we are using the same shape of this body to experience our sense perceptions. Our tactile sense, our sense of smell, the way it's located on the physical body appears to be the same way it's located there and looks like it's an overlap. We would not be able to have any sense perceptions if we did not have an astral body. When we say we are seeing something, we are actually seeing with the astral body through a cover, through the lenses of the physical body. If that were not there, we wouldn't see. We wouldn't be able to touch. We wouldn't be able to do anything that we call sense perception. Astral body is made up of sense perceptions and provides the sense perceptions through the physical body to the extent it can. If your eyes get musty, your lenses get dark, and you've got cataract and you can't see clearly, it's a physical ailment. It's not an astral ailment. A person who has this problem, when he meditates and goes into the astral body, he has better than 20/20 clear vision. Everything looks so clear there. The rules that apply to that state are different than the rules that apply here. Time is one of the factors where you can check that you can stop time, stop an event which you can't do here. But you can go further. Supposing you withdraw your attention from the astral self and go to the inner self, which is the creative self, the causal self, which has caused all experience to take place, which has created time and space, which has created everything, which has created the universal mind, which has created all that the mind can ever imagine, which has been worshipped as the ultimate creator by most of the people, including the gurus and masters and yogis. They have called that the ultimate stage. Because there's nothing more than you can visualize, aspire for, desire for, seek for, than that with your mind. When you reach that state, you wonder what is that made of. We have left our physical body, at least the awareness of it we have left behind. We have left the awareness of sense perceptions behind. What are we having the awareness of now? We are having awareness of direct perception, of concepts, of things that make up things. We are able to experience that with that causal self. What is the causal self? What's the substance that makes the causal self? It's nothing but our own mind. The mind is the causal self. It's not there's a body in which we have a mind. The mind is the body. The mind is the causal self and creates everything. That has no form because it does not operate either in the astral self or in the physical self through these forms. Therefore, it's formless. We create a form for the sake of experience, and it can create any form. But we create a sort of formless form with it. And our speed of flight, our speed of experience is so rapid. It's the most rapid speed of experience you can ever have. And that is only because it's the speed at which the mind can think. Thinking is one of the functions of the mind. Thinking is a function of the causal body. Thinking is like a heartbeat of this physical body. This physical body survives on heartbeats. It survives with the blood circulating, carrying all the nutrition everywhere. Otherwise, the body doesn't last. Like that, thoughts, the thinking process, the process of continuously speaking out, either in words, language, or otherwise. That's the function of the mind, and without that, it dies. Therefore, even in the physical body, when you think of your mind, it'll always be speaking. It's the greatest speaker. It's an endless speaker. It speaks continuously. There's no way you can stop it. I have yet to meet a person because we constantly talk of stilling the mind. Unless you still your mind, you can't get anything. How do you still your mind? There was a colleague of mine at Harvard University who said he had succeeded in stopping the mind from thinking. I was very impressed. That is, at least I am meeting one guy who says he knows how to stop thinking. He has performed some asanas, some kind of a yoga he has done by which he can control the thinking mind and stop thinking. So I invited him to my apartment to demonstrate if he can really stop thinking. And what happens? My interest was to find out what happens to consciousness. What happens to a living person who says he's not thinking for a certain period of time? What happens? So he came up and I said, how long can you stop thinking? He said about half an hour or so easily. I said, how about doing it for 1 minute? 60 seconds. If you can do it for 60 seconds, I'll believe you can do it forever. You must have found some art. So he sat down to demonstrate. And I said, when you don't stop thinking anytime, well, I tell you, then you stop thinking because you know how to do it. I told him, I'll clap my hand and start looking at my stopwatch. When I clap my hand, you stop thinking. And after 60 seconds, I will clap again. Then you start thinking. Then we will examine from your personal experience what happened to you while you were not thinking. It's going to be great search, great survey for me, a great study for me to find out what happens when a person does not think. So he got into an asana. He contorted his body in a certain way, which we mostly do in yogic exercises. And then he was all ready. So when I saw he was ready, I clapped and looked at my watch. After 60 seconds, I clapped again. I said, now tell me what happened when I clapped. He said, I stopped thinking. I said, when I clapped, how did you know that's the time to stop thinking? I said, don't make up a story. Tell me exactly what happened in your head. He said, when you clapped. I said, this is the time to stop thinking. I said, that's a thought. He said, but only took a couple of seconds. 2-3 seconds only. I just thought that I have to stop thinking. Then I stopped. I said, okay, experiment is narrowed down now to 57 seconds. 2-3 seconds, but still thought. Now tell me, when you stop thinking, how did you know that when I clap again, you can start thinking again? Don't make a story. Again, personally remember what happened. He said, oh, now I recall, after I said, this clap means I have to stop thinking, and when he claps again, I will start thinking again. I said, that's another thought. In about 10 minutes, we analyzed what happened. And continuously he had to program himself to start thinking when I clap again. Continuously he was saying these things to himself. And then at the end of our little discussion on what happened in those 60 seconds, he caught his head. He said, oh my God, I never thought so much ever before there in the 60 seconds. The point I'm making is, nobody has been able to stop thinking you will die. The mind will die, the senses will die, the body will die if you stop thinking. It's a lifeline. Therefore, when we say still your mind, or you say don't apply your mind to thoughts that are taking you away, what it means is ignore your mind. It does not mean the mind will stop its function. When we say withdraw your attention from this body, it does not mean kill your body. It means let the bodies go, don't put your attention on it. When you say withdraw your attention from the mind, it means not stop thinking, don't put your attention on the thought. Pull away from the attention on the thought. And that's a very difficult practice. But that is what takes you beyond the mind. There has to be a power to pull you off from your mind in order to ignore the mind. Fortunately, that power exists in all of us. The power of love. The power of love operates from there. Do you know the only time when we really ignore what we are thinking is when we are in love? That pulls us. Love and devotion go together. We don't know what love is. We are calling attachment as love. All the things we are attached to, we call it love. Love is not something that we project or we give to anybody. Love is what pulls us. Love is a pull. Love, a Persian mystic says, Ishq awwal dar dile mashuk paida mishwad. That means love is first born in the heart of the beloved. If the beloved doesn't pull you, you don't experience love. So love is always a pull. And it is the unconditional love that comes to us from a perfect living master that pulls us. Actually, it pulls us beyond our reason. Even when our mind is arguing against it, it still pulls us. It's the only thing that beats the mind. It's the only thing that enables us to ignore the mind in meditation. Therefore, then why do we say love and devotion? Why don't we stop and say love that pulls? Because devotion is a response to that love. When we are pulled by love, we feel devoted. And devotion is an expression, the best expression we can have toward that pull which we call love. That's why love and devotion go together. When unconditional love pulls us, our devotion responds to it. And we feel happy as one. And we feel both go together. These are the things that will really take us out of this and show us what is immortal. This is not immortal. This physical body is very, very temporary. We see others going, we'll also go. Everybody is gone. So many masters came, they have gone. So many great philosophers came, they have gone. Nobody stayed in the physical body forever. We'll also go, like anybody else. It's a temporary thing. Very useful thing, but temporary. It's like a useful garment given to us for a wedding or something. So we wear that wedding suit, and the wedding is over. We are wearing this beautiful human body, and it has certain benefits no other form has. The human body given to us for a little limited time, to an immortal soul, to a soul that does not know anything about death and birth, does not know anything about time as we know it. This is beyond time. That soul gets embedded into a physical body. And what's the big advantage? This physical body with the physical mind in it, the mind that's operating at physical level, we call physical mind. The astral mind and the causal mind, all operating within this physical body, creates a great feeling that we can make our own choice, that we have free will, that we can decide what to do or not, that destiny is being made by us right now, that we decide whether we'll go out tomorrow or not. There is no such thing as pre-written destiny, because we can change. Our mind can change. And therefore, the experience of free will is real in this physical world. And it's not real anywhere else. That's the beauty. It's not real in any other form. It's not real at any other level. The only level where free will is real is our absolute top level, where is only one. And that free will created the whole universe, including our free will. And that was our own true self. There are only two places in this entire spiritual structure of the creation of this universe where we can experience free will: in the human body and as a creator of the whole universe. No other place. All other places are bound by programs we run through. Other forms of life, we run through our instincts and we run through built-in reactions to everything, all pre-programmed. People are even wondering how much of our pre-programmed destiny we can find out by better study of the DNA molecule. Today, genetic studies are going on, genome studies are going on to tell us we can predict so many events of life which we thought were based upon our free will. In course of time, you'll find out more and more that we can discover through science how little real free will we have. But that doesn't matter. We have no real free will. That's not the real thing. The real thing is we feel we have. And this feeling we have free will enables us to have the feeling we are a seeker. If we can make a decision to go this way, we can also make a decision to go the spiritual way. This feeling, this experience we have, that we can be on a spiritual path, is the key to finding the spiritual path, is the key to finding a perfect living master. This experience of free will, that you can decide your course of action, and therefore you can decide even the spiritual course of action. That's the key. And the key is responded in our physical life by the appearance of a perfect living master in our life. People say, how can we find a perfect living master? My answer is always standard answer: seek him inside you. He'll come to you. You don't have to run around. Coincidences will bring him to you. Different circumstances of life will bring him to you. If he is a perfect living master, a human being like ourselves, is a perfect living master, and doesn't know we are a seeker, how can he be a master? If he's our master, if we are on his list who he is going to take us back to our true home, and doesn't even know where we are, doesn't even know where we are seeking, how can he be our master? A perfect living master is one who finds us, not that we run around finding him. He may put us through a search because of our mind. Our mind loves to search, our mind loves to struggle and find. Okay, go through this and I'll appear at the right time, which he does. So the way to find a perfect living master is to be ready, to seek within yourself, and master will come. And how will you know who's your master? There are so many masters around. Great master used to say, in India the number of masters has grown so much that now there are more masters than disciples. This breed of masters has spread very quickly. So how do we know who is a perfect living master? The answer to that question is that the master who will pull you with his unconditional love is your master, and he will take you up. There can be masters who are perfect living masters, but may not take you up because you're not ready for that time. They may even initiate you. They may initiate you in preparation for the next life. Then you'll meet a master who is the master who will pull you and take you up. These are internal things written only in the manual for masters that I'm quoting from. that the manual of master says that there can be masters, and this may not be your last life, then he is a master who has put you on track. But within 4 lives from that date, you will find a master who will take you back home. The good thing about this is, according to the theoretical model we have about master's work, that when a master, perfect living master, initiates us, he guarantees that a master, perfect living master, will take you back home within 4 lifetimes. People, when I came to this country, United States, the beginning, everybody I met thought they were in their first life, waiting for 4 lives. I said, how do you know this is your first life or second life or third or fourth or fifth? You should be able to know from your own progress. Because in the first life, you hardly develop the seeking to be found. In the second life, you are dedicated, the love flows automatically, devotion flows automatically. Third life, you made almost so much progress that very quickly you find a master and you are having experiences inside. Therefore, you can't know which life you are living in. But when a master pulls you with his love and takes you in, that's generally the final life that you have. The master will take you in. My father, who was a good disciple of great master, once heard that great master has said in one of his satsangs that a person initiated by a perfect living master will not have to have more than 4 lifetimes of human life. Each one will be a human life, except very rare exceptions. And each one will be better and more conducive to meditation. So each life will be better because even initiation by a perfect living master, who is not your final master, destroys your sinchit karma, the reserve karma you have. And therefore your next life is only built upon the karma of that one life. And that's never so much that to create too much karma, negative karma in the future. So every life turns out to be better than the previous one. So he heard that great master said that there will be no more than 4 lives. He couldn't attend that satsang. He couldn't attend that discourse. So in the evening, he went to the great master's house. He said, I missed the satsang today, but somebody told me that in that meeting you said a perfect living master, once he initiates a person, he will not have more than 4 human lives, and they'll all be one better than the other. Is that true? Great master said, Lekh Raj, that was my father's name. Lekh Raj, why are you worried? This is your last life. Why are you asking this question? You are on your last life. You will not come back again. He said, Master, I asked this question that supposing I want more than 4 lives, you're putting a restriction. I thought that if the master keeps coming here, I should keep coming too. And can you guarantee that you will not come alone and leave me behind in Sachkhand, pining for you? Master laughed and he said, look, we say 4 lives. It does not mean that everybody is going to get 4 lives. If a person, after initiation by a perfect living master, follows his instructions as best as he can, that is his last life. Guaranteed. If a person, initiated by a perfect living master, cannot follow those instructions, feels short, feels, I wish I could do better, feels he has not done enough of homework required by the master, he may come for a second life. But in the second life, he'll make up. If a person initiated by a perfect living master, out of his grace, because of his readiness, but not yet fully preparedness to do what is required, is initiated by a master and leaves the path and says, no, it was a hoax, it was just not real. The masters are not real, this path is all made up by psychologists and so on. And they just say these are all visions that we get just by blood pressure or something. If that is the case, that person may come on the third life. If a person not only leaves the path, but goes against the master, works against him, even crucifies him, he may come for the 4th time. So don't think there's a rule that we all have to be here for 4 lives. today, let's try today meditation behind the eyes with love and devotion, where you visualize